Come on in. Let's get started. Let's just start it.
Yeah.
Find yourself a chair. Get in your forum mode. Just sponge in the learning. First questions. There's a lot of shows this weekend. What did you guys go and see? Naughty played Naughty played with a Sublime cover band. That happened? And Naughty played one song at another show, right? Did you get through one? A few? A couple? The Yotes. Did anyone make it out to the Yotes show on Thirsty Thursday? That's right. The Yotes released some music. City Lark released some music too, if I'm not mistaken. Yes? Where is our City Lark agency? Is Pat even here? Okay. Great. All right, there it is. Will's representing a City Lark. So a lot of good shows happened. Let's do some announcements now. And if you have shows, where's Mike? Is Mike here? Mike Gonzalez? Okay, Mike, raise your hand one more time. Mike is going to write down your show and give it to the Maroon. So we need that right now or during announcements so that way the whole university can see what's going on. If you're not sure Mike got it, be sure to see him. You know, he's very nice. So with that said, can we start with any announcements? Anything going on this week you guys want to share? Come on up. It's a very special occasion, guys. Zach has an announcement. Zach has never given us an announcement before. Yeah, I think.
Ooh. Oh, wow. This is pretty cool. Okay, so this weekend, for those of you who aren't, obsessively checking the university calendar, is the Awakening Retreat, which is, pretty cool, and if you're into that kind of thing. So if you want to, experiment with some agape with some good people, let me know. We're doing sign-ups through tomorrow. Realistically, if you have money, we will always take it. So if you want to go to the Magis Lounge, which is kind of like the Mission Ministry Bat Cave. It's on the bottom floor of the Dana Center. Or just find me. All right, cool.
Juan. What's happening? Listen, still with Loyola Music News. If you got a gig coming up, let us know. Come get on the show. We can get the word out there. If you got music, let us review it. Let us listen to it. I promise I will be semi-nice a little bit. If you got a show, let us know. We can get it out there. We can interview you, get you on the show. The most important thing is for you to go out and connect with a new audience. So we can help you do that. So talk to me, talk to Isabella, talk to Hillary Marker. It's not hard, and I promise you we don't bite.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jack. I'm in a new band called Cozy. We're playing our first venue show this Friday at Cafe P with Trump Tower, Beast Makes Bomb, they're from Chicago, and Artifact is opening. I'm really excited. We just released our Facebook and a new single, and we have a full 5-song EP coming out this Wednesday. I'm really stoked. Hope to see you all there. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Colin. So this Friday is part of Faubourg at Blue Nile upstairs is Prom Date, Rare Luth, and my band, Bantam Foxes. It's going to be really cool. I've never been to the Blue Nile, so I'm excited. But anyway, we're also releasing a single tomorrow. It's called Squarely. There's a music video coming out with it too. It's fun. It's only a minute and a half long, and we at shows make people hold their breath during it, so you should download it. It'll be on our Bandcamp and our website. But yeah, come to Blue Nile on Friday. It's gonna be awesome.
Hello, everybody. My name's Dan. I'm in a band called Something Burning, and we actually just played a show at the Den with City Lark and a songwriter called Matt Nichols, and it was really fun on Saturday. But I'm actually going to tell you guys about some other gigs coming up. This Friday, there's a band called Deep Ella and Deadbeat Darling playing at the Circle Bar, and it should be $5. and they're both really cool bands. And we're actually going to be playing with them in Houston on Saturday, the day after that, at the Warehouse Live. So if you guys just happen to be in Houston, hit that up. But anyway, Deadbeat Darling and Deep Ella are at the Circle Bar on Friday for $5. And also, I wanted to say that Something Burning last Monday actually released a single called White Mountainside, which we played for you guys a couple weeks ago. It's an acoustic cello guitar thing. So you can check that out at our website, which is somethingburningband.com. Thanks a lot.
Hello, the band that I'm managing, The Session, will be playing their modern jazz quintet. They'll be playing at 3 Muses this Saturday night from 10 till 1 a.m. It'll be a pretty good show. It's free, and if you come, I may buy you a drink, but probably not. But you could still come, and I might, but probably not. But see you there.
That's totally worth almost getting a drink. That's good.
Hey guys, I'm Pepe. This Friday, there's a show at Ampersand, Crooked Culture, and Onion Loaf are playing. It's an open bar from 9 to 12, so if you guys want to get drunk for free and listen to 2 awesome bands, please come by. Doors at 9, so yeah, holla at them.
You just go in front of, yeah. Dimitri, go ahead.
Hey y'all, I'm Alex. This weekend, as a part of Faubourg Music Festival, as I'm sure Sam told you about. Oh, sorry. Y'all are twins. I'm sorry. But Chicken Pen Records is throwing 2 showcases, one with Maps and Atlas's Sun Hotel. Yeah, I'm really excited. And Cattywampus, and that show's at 1A Jack's. And another at Siberia with The Men, Heat Dust, Glish, and Native America. It's a whole bunch of chinkapin bands, coupled with some touring acts. They're all really great. The Men are from Brooklyn. They're kind of a garage pop rock thing. And you can get tickets at chinkapinrecords.com or more info on any social thing. Thanks.
Hey, I'm Dimitri. I'm just making an announcement for NOLA Sound. We have a general meeting tomorrow at 12:30 during the window, and it's going to be at the office. Like, not right in the office, but it'll just go to the office. You'll find us. It's the NOLA Sound office.
Basement of the Dana Center.
Yeah, it's in the basement of the sorry. Yeah, it's mandatory, which our employees don't seem to know the definition of mandatory. It's like you have to go. So, thank you.
Pat, all right.
I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who came out for the City Lark show with Something Burning and Matt Nichols. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. Matt's actually here with me tonight, and he's sitting in for Forum. If you want to come talk to him, maybe get some contact information, or his album is available on mattnicholsband.com. We released the first single off of our EP called Far From Home, and that's available on our Bandcamp at citylark.bandcamp.com or through our Facebook page. It's posted there. And thanks again for coming out. It was awesome. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Feliciana Spice, and I'm an R&B singer. I am still looking to put together an R&B band, so if anyone is interested, all instruments are welcome. You guys can contact me at 504-221-9920 or hit me up on Facebook at Feliciana Spice World. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name's Kevin Corn. For those of you who don't know me, I manage Liquid Peace Revolution, and we're playing at the Hard Rock Battle of the Bands this Wednesday. We only get 15 minutes to play in the hour, so I don't know if you guys want to come out for that or not. But then after that, next Saturday, we're going to be playing at 12 Bar on St. Paddy's Day, so that'll be really fun. After you guys get drunk, if you're over 21. On St. Paddy's Day, you can come out to 12 Bar downtown. We're also going to be mixing and mastering our EP tonight at this guy Jacques' house. He works for this great record label, Fudge. And we're going to be releasing that within the next few weeks. I think we're going to be doing download cards for it at one of our shows. So just be looking out for that, and that'll be coming to you soon. And enjoy Forum.
I think our own Georgia had an announcement we were going to make something very special for us. Okay, that's not it. Okay, here we are.
How y'all doing tonight? All right, so I present to you the Artistic Entrepreneur Conference 2012.
We did it! We did it! You did it!
So this is something new we're doing. It's going to feature 4 panels of experts from all different areas of artistic entrepreneurship. Friday, March 23rd. If you scroll down, there's the link to register. Oh, go back up a little bit. You all got this link in your email today, that link up there. You have to register because space is limited. And it's open to the whole College of Music and Fine Arts. Now, there are about 700 students who are majors and minors in the College of Music and Fine Arts, and only 100 spaces. So register soon so you can get a spot, okay? It's going to be really, really exciting and really fun, and I hope to see you all there. Thanks.
You know, Georgia has her last week next week, or this week, right? Georgia is leaving this week, so y'all got to give her a big round of applause.
Georgia McBride! Later. Okay, a couple announcements for the program. How many people came out to our songwriting thing on Thursday? I know I see a couple writers who were at that. If you write music and you need some people to play it for or check it out, please come by and share your stuff because we got a really cool environment. That's every Thursday. The Songwriters Group, Songwriters Anonymous, meets in John Rankin's room, 7 o'clock, CM 234. So if you write music of any kind, come and play it for us and get some ears on it. Second thing, we've had a big response for the Search and Restore team that's putting together, that's being a part of this mini fest that's going along during Jazz Fest. If you are interested in being a part of that planning committee and that board, please see me after Forum or Mika, George, Joshua, John. Any of these guys, could you raise your hands? Anyone on that board there? Come say hi because we're moving really fast and it's going to be a great project. Next, I want to say something on a personal note from me. A lot of you guys know I've been working on a project that's been taking my energy every day since this school year started. And today was a really big day because we got to put the big button on a big phase of that. And I know it's something that everyone in this room can relate to. That day when you get your CD in the mail. So today is the first day looking at it. We'll have these available soon. We still have to do some of the logistics stuff, being in the band and managing it, all the DIY repercussions, whatever. But I just want to share it with you guys because it's been really special. So thank you. A big thank you to a lot of people in this room too. A lot of people, it wouldn't have happened without them, professors and students alike. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We're doing something new this week. I won't be doing the only person doing the interviews. Someone else will be joining me because, as you guys know, fingers crossed, I'm going to be graduating, and we'll have other people doing this. If that's something that you want to check out, try doing the moderating and being a part of that, please let me know, or please let someone else who works in the production of you. But today we'll have Rosabelle doing it. So Rosabelle will be joining me on stage. One more thing, next week's forum, this week is Mr. Mike Reed, and we'll talk about that in a second. But if you haven't checked out this blog, this is where you can find all the forums. Next week is going to be Johnny Sketch and the Dirty Notes, a pretty established band who's been on the road making music and making money at it for a long time. They're going to come and talk about what they do, and we may have some sort of workshop where a band plays for them, or they play for a band, or something like that. There's some things in the works for that. So keep on your emails for that. But now I want to welcome our speaker for this evening and turn off the projector. This guy has done a lot for music in a lot of ways I think we can all respect. Someone who's taken it upon themselves to move the cultural needle in a music that's really important to them, and I think that's something we can all relate to. He's a big player in the Pitchfork Music Festival, Umbrella Music, and in Chicago Jazz Fest. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Mike Reed. And Rosabelle. Hey there.
Hey.
So, from our conversation we had last week, I was hoping you could start us off by just talking about a little bit about your experience in working in booking and sort of moving. I don't want to say buying talent, but maybe promoting artists. What do you think some of the salient points that make someone successful at that?
A lot of times people use the term promoter, and years ago, I was lucky to, when I first started actually realizing that I was putting on shows and there was audience and there was also economics involved, I really made a point to say that I'm not a promoter. I produce events and I present concerts and entertainment. And my main thought about doing it is that I'm interested in this show. Mm-hmm. The rest of it is before anything else. I'm a musician. I'm still a musician. I go out and tour. I do all that type of stuff. And the reason I started putting on shows is because I didn't have a place to play. So I was booking my bands. I was making announcements, doing all that shit. And then
gotta do it.
You guys are in college. Come on. And then it just grew into putting on, having a bill with my friends on it and whatnot. And then realizing that there weren't enough places to play that where I could do this type of music I wanted. So this is sort of the essential part of me presenting shows. And so how does somebody get good at it? Some people are really great at buying shows. They know exactly what they're doing, all the numbers, making sure all of the percentages work out. I don't do that stuff. I'm not interested in it. It's really, there are times of the year where I start looking at numbers and saying, well, so-and-so does X amount of tickets, but they've been through, it's the second part of their cycle. And as soon as I start saying stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, we need to go walk away for a little bit. And it's like, well, what does this show mean? Do you really want to do this show? Is this somebody that I want to present and be a part of? What does this mean to the lineup of the festivals and whatnot? So I think that there's two things that are kind of important, especially when you're dealing with entertainment. One, there's people who want to be a star. It's like you're a performer, somebody wants to be a star. Some people just want to make art. I'm interested in making art. There's people that put on shows and they want to put on big shows. I just want to put on a good show. So sometimes we put on shows for 10 people, and they're some of the best shows. Sometimes there's 30,000 people, and some of those are the worst shows, or some of the best shows. But the idea is it's about the program, the show that we're putting on, the people that are performing. And then, once that happens, then the ability for somebody else, the experiences, the musician's experience, the audience experience, if you care that much about it, then that's just going to shine through. I mean, we have this thing, when we do Pitchfork, there's one of the biggest things that we get is that, I don't know why, I don't understand, but from the beginning, these large artists that play big festivals, Primavera, Lollapalooza, ACL, whatever, and they say, wow, this is really different. This is really, it really has something to do with the people that are working on it, the people that I have working on it, really are invested in the experience of the artists, the attendees, and their own personal benefit in it is just, it's maybe not even a consideration. And that's sort of the idea. And so I think the success is that. It's not about, anybody, I deal with enough jokers at William Morris. It's like any joker can get up there and do that shit. It's awful. You might as well be selling cars. Yeah. I'm serious. Yeah. It is that. So success, it's like you can sell cars, you can sell insurance, you can sell bands that you don't like, you can buy bands that you don't like, and you might be really good at it. But that's not successful to me.
Yeah. So what some of the experiences led to that sort of definition of success, or let you find out that that's what you wanted to do?
I still don't know if that's what I want to do. I mean, seriously, I wake up and I'm like, you got to do this. And I have to book these concerts in Millennium Park. Millennium Park's a really big park in Chicago, new park, amazing architecture, and it's on sort of the level of Hollywood Bowl. Anyway, so for the last few years we book these concerts there every Monday. We'll have like Iron and Wine or She and Him, and it's like I really don't want to do this. I really don't have to get up and find bands to play this thing because I don't know if there's enough out there that I really like right now to do this. So I don't know if, I wake up a lot of times, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. But the thing I do want to do is I still want to play, and I still want to go to good shows for different types of music that I'm really into.
Yeah.
And so that's not going to stop. And so, and sometimes those are the shows that I'm putting on for 10 people or for, 10,000 people. So, yeah, I think that if the artistic end of it is like the basis for how you're involved, then it'll always be a question. I mean, it's a question if you're just going to be like an instrumentalist, for instance, or a performer. What's driving you at the moment? Sometimes you don't want, I don't have a record in me, and some days it's like I don't really have any talent buying in me, and people don't get emails from me for a couple of weeks. It's because I don't know what to do about this slot on this festival, or, So if you're getting driven from the creative end of it, then you're always going to be sort of dealing with, well, I don't really know what where we're going with this, or what's motivating you to do it. You need to kind of be recycling. For me, it's like I really enjoy making events, like creating events, and creating unique experiences. There's fantastic places and venues like in Chicago, really good people putting on shows, regular shows, 200, 500, 800. But I kind of feel it's like, well, I'm a specialty guy. I don't own a venue. We do jazz shows, but we can do them sort of wherever. And we have different rooms we do them, but as far as like especially like indie music or pop music, anything like that, it's like I put on unique experiences, and that's fun. It's unique for the artists, it's unique for the audience, and so then it can keep it always fresh for me, And if like I'm saying, it's awful. I'm sorry, complaining about, I got to book Millennium Park. You wake up then, it's like, and you're like, what am I doing? It's like, wait, what you're doing is actually probably better than what most people have to get up and do today. So, slap yourself around a little bit and say, all right, let's go,
So could you maybe walk us through the booking process for something as big as Pitchfork? I mean, where does your involvement start and where does it end?
Yeah, well, if it's on a cycle, so the festival is always in July. And then it takes 6 to 8 weeks to wrap it up. But about 2 weeks after, I start moving into the next year of it.
Wow.
Either picking up conversations for artists that maybe we didn't do, so like last year, 2011, starting to talk about artists that we didn't have for whatever reason. They might have been in Europe at that time period. Maybe they delayed their record into the fall, so next summer is when they're going to be really coming and hitting festivals. So you start talking about those things with people that, and I have a decent amount of agents that I'm friends with and also trust, and we can talk about those things. And then there's a more in-depth conversation that happens with my company, well, with me as the production side, and then with Pitchfork Media, the guys, the main cats over there, my partners. So we basically sit there and come up with ideas from the craziest, dreams to, the smallest new band that we're kind of speculating on. And over a few months, we grow into a list of like maybe 300 artists, kind of tiered out. And then we just sort of keep on talking, and then people talk to us and send us ideas and talk about that. And since we have this time period, it's not like we're using it to be lazy at all. Actually, it's really difficult because you're really trying to make a smart decision, and we're making decisions mostly based on how do we like this and what does it mean? How is this all going to fit? So other people will look at like Polestar and they'll say, well, look, we're in New York, this market, Flaming Lips do X amount of tickets. We should be getting this band. And we don't do stuff like that. And we're very much about, we haven't had this person, this would be a wonderful, possibility. Could we get somebody to collaborate? Do you think this band's going to get back together? Are these guys friends again? Is this, all this type of things that we're thinking of, how is the experience going to be different? And so we're just kind of trying to, talk about it, fight about it, make concessions, and all of a sudden things just start to fall into place. Some of it's a little bit about pressure too, about, because some of the larger artists, it's hard because they have big machines. You just don't call them up and say, do you want to play? I have some money to pay you. And it's like, no, they have probably on a new record, 1.5 year, plan in their minds that you need to sort of be involved with somehow, So at that certain point when they're like saying, well, we have Europe calling, we have Japan calling. It's like, okay, let's do it. Everybody cool? Great, all right. And then I make the deals, sort of wait for the answers, sort of go back and forth, try and make sure everybody's cool. And then we get a, confirmation, or they pass and move on to something else. So since we work on it from a different standpoint than like numbers, it makes it also very hard because we can't just move into another artist that fills that space. It has to be the right artist. It's like, well, we can't have them because we have so-and-so, or we can't have them because we don't like them. Lots of people may like them, but we don't like them. So that happens all the time. And, oh God, it happens way too much. And I have to sort of be apologetic about it to agents and say, well, sorry, we just don't like the band.
Wow.
It's like,
but you got to stand behind what your values are.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, if you look at past lineups, and even somewhat to now, we're much more comfortable with having not like a headliner. We could say, forget it, let's not do a headliner. Let's just get a whole, what we would spend on a headliner. Let's just get a whole bunch of great sort of mid-tier acts and just blow it out that way instead of having this big thing and then it sort of, goes in. It's like, well, what's the point of that? I mean, not to say that this would happen, but let's say, it's like, yeah, why would we have Radiohead? That's like an event in itself, that makes no sense. It's like, instead of that, we could have, 100 bands if we wanted, so don't go blogging about that or tweeting, or that's not going to happen. But the point is, the idea is that, other events will say, we need a big thing here. And we do too, but we can be much more flexible about that type of idea. Because we just want to make sure that it's people that we really like and respect. Or at the very least, if I'm not necessarily in complete agreement about something, that I know that on the partner end of things, that this is something that means a lot to them. It's like, all right, I can live with that,
Yeah. Did you want to jump in here? Have questions?
I mean, so you've been able to help traveling bands in Chicago make a profit by programming them with multiple organizations, and I was wondering if you could talk to us about some of the models that you use for that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I have a bit of a schizophrenic. I don't know if there is really a model for it.
Yeah, this may need a backstory.
Yeah, so as a jazz musician, really programming basically different free jazz and improvised music nights. We started out doing a Sunday night program that still exists now. This place called The Hungry Brain. And there was different sort of people doing this, and we kind of coalesced into an organization where we have 3 different rooms and 3 different nights basically doing similar stuff. And we cooperate together when people are touring in. We can say, I can't do that show, so-and-so will do that show. We cooperate with some funding and just ideas. So there's that. There's also a festival that we do with that where we're able to collaborate with the city, and we put on concerts in the cultural center. And with that, we also use that opportunity to collaborate with European consulates, and this is great. If you have a chance to do this, I highly recommend it. They pay for artists from their country to be a part of our festival, and it's like, it's free money. And obviously a fantastic way for us to expose people to folks that may never come. So there's that whole world of stuff. That also, Chicago is very unique in a certain way that the collaborations and cross-genre, bending is really fun. So with that, there's a lot of people where I can sort of just turn to them and say, well, I want to do this type of, I want to do this type of show, and they'll say, well, that's great. Let's try and do it in this type of room. Like, okay, we'll do it in a theater, and it has nothing to do with jazz improvised music. But so that sort of morphs into, I would like to do a festival. I've never done a festival before, and but that sounds like fun because I really like this type of music. Hey, website, do you guys want to do this festival? I'll produce it. And now it's like 8 years later. That's schizophrenic in a certain way, so there's that. And then along that time period, the jazz stuff and working with the city says, well, you know, we have this park, and we want to, you know, program more stuff there. And it's like, well, okay, that'd be great. And it probably should be more popular music because you guys do jazz, you do world music, you do classical stuff. It's like, let's do, you know, like more of like stuff what I'm doing with Pitchfork. So now it's very mapped out, and there's, as far as a model, like, I don't know that there is a model, you know, and if there's a model, it's just the idea that there's really good relationships amongst people who are trying to do interesting things. And it's kind of like, I'm really lucky to benefit from some of those things. But I think it's sort of the core of this idea that having relationships and being, when we started doing Pitchfork, the most important thing, I had a couple folks that were supposedly going to be our investors, and that didn't happen. And I thought about it, it's like, well, you know, that's fine if you want to invest in this thing, but what's better actually is the fact that I know all these people and have these relationships. It was my currency. And so that still exists. And there was a great idea that even all of these relationships that you have, the benefit isn't direct. Maybe it's never, but the best thing that you can be is somebody that's able to be there for somebody else in a connection. Obviously, the most obvious version of this is being on Facebook or LinkedIn and all that type of stuff. That's basically a version of this thing, but you have to remember that you're not really looking for a benefit. The benefit is being that person that's, you know, gets, hey, do you know what to do about this show? Do you know what to do about, like, I need an intern. It's like, yeah, I know these great people. I know this great place. I got the best deal for you. Or let me connect you with someone who does know. And you may never see any of those things coming back, but more often than not, something comes back because you're always sort of in the center point of it. You know, you're always somebody that can be accessible to folks, and hopefully with that you know, you're always around the things that are happening, you know, around opportunities, obviously for yourself, but for everyone that you know and you work with, and that's great, you know. The more that you can build up the things around you, you know, it's just going to put you in a better place. And so this is basically more or less why the thing that I'm doing is schizophrenic. It got to be that way because I feel that I really like working with different people. I'm really interested in really great ideas, and I think that it just sort of worked out that way. And there's a lot of really good folks that I know that, you know, just completely amazed, and, you know, if they need something, no problem, I'm there, you know.
So I mean, we sort of touched on this as this sort of like web. You know, a lot of people get put off by the phrase networking, but what you're talking about sort of mitigates that, because if you go into the environments and the social networks, but of people, not of computers, that you like, and you go in to sort of be helpful and to help the ideas and the people move forward, that comes back to you. So I guess I think a lot of people
networking it's not networking. You actually have to believe it. Like, you know, networking is this idea that something is going to spin back to you. And I'm saying, yes, this idea of being connected, of being this sort of center point or a point in it is, of course, you know, you can't put something out there and things don't come back. But you really have to believe that I really like this. I really like being able to give people good information and connect them with reliable contacts and friends and information. It has to be real. You know, I mean, there's plenty of people, we do, you know, I still, quote unquote, network, you know, but I think I want to do it on a way, it's like, it's nice to meet you, I'm so-and-so, and that's great. That doesn't mean we're aligned in any other way. We're not buddies, I'm not going to get with you on LinkedIn, you know. No, it's just, you know, you meet people. That's one thing. This other thing of being actually, that has to be very meaningful. Because people, they know that, you know. I have the, one of the things that, like, where I do that and sort of I express that is because, especially, like you guys, no offense to, but with my festival, I really don't like hiring anybody that is interested in working in the music industry. Sorry.
Wow.
Because I really
That's
don't.
funny because we're a music industry program.
I know. I know, and by the time you leave, you may not want to do that anymore. But the thing is, it's like, the reason is because I don't want, you know, whoever my production assistant is trying to make time with, you know, the head of Merge. It's like, no, your job is to actually move ice. I don't care if it's for Merge, I don't care if it's for the guys who do sound. It's like, that is your job. You know, and you need to be as good at it for everybody. Because they're all good people. They're all just people, you know? And so I don't really like, I obviously do have people that are music industry folks, even more and more, obviously, because of the fact that the event has gone on. But originally, I didn't like hiring them, you know, because I knew that the work would be much more honest. Because I don't consider myself a music industry person. At the end of the day, I'm going to go and I'm going to play drums for, you know, like some free jazz show for like 20 people. And I love doing that, and I'm going to continue to do those things. But, you know, I don't want to mess up the basic concept of the type of work that we're trying to do. Yeah, and that's, yeah, so it's an interesting sort of thing. So what I mean, going back, it's you really have to mean it. You really have to mean wanting to be connected with people. You know, I think that's harder and harder for folks these days. One of the things where I find it difficult for myself now that I'm older, I'm also, you know, my friends are older, they, you know, they all have kids, and I'm still living like I'm 23. But, you know, it's like I basically try and engage other art people, you know, whether they're in dance and film, and just sit down. It's like, let's talk. I want to know what you're doing. What are you guys doing over there that I need to be interested in? And trying to make another connection, maybe more organizationally, conceptually, you know, because now it's like you have the means to do it. You know, I'm old enough where people believe me. You know, you guys probably have awesome ideas. I remember being young and trying to get people to believe in these, and they don't because you're too young. You know, unless you like come up with like some crazy idea, but probably brilliant stuff. And the fact is that, you know, whoever you're going to work for, you could like tell them, it's like, this band, you got to sign this band. And they're like, yeah, whatever, you know? But it's like now it's
but
like...
But if you say we got to sign this band, that band
yeah,
gets signed.
I could say stupid stuff, and people will do it, you know? And...
You've earned that, though.
Oh,
You've put your time
the
in.
amount of stupid stuff that I hear on the phone is ridiculous. But no, but it has nothing to do with earning that time. But I've been on the planet longer. People, you're older, of course, you make sense. It's like, no, not really. You know, I mean, you guys, I'm sure there's tons of brilliant ideas, and obviously most of the art that we're going to be, you know, people my age and older are going to be sort of working on and making industry of by people that are your age. You know, I mean, there's not like that hotshot 38-year-old band. It's like, no, you know, it's 20-year-olds that are making this stuff. You know, the hippest things that are going on, they're not, I don't know about them. You know, people are like, you must know about all, it's like, no, I don't know about that. It's happening right now somewhere, and, you know, in 2 years, somebody's going to take it and, you know, it'll be a big deal, but I don't know what that is. I'd like to know. You know, I need to get like more 21-year-old friends or something and figure this stuff out. But yeah, so I think that being of a certain age and trying to being taken seriously is a whole part of this thing, you know. And I don't know. But at the core of it is like still this idea of trying to be very genuine about, what's wanting to be involved with people's ideas and engaging their ideas, listening to, now I have to do it in a different way. But it's the same sort of thing. How do you get connected to these folks? What are they doing? So.
Right. Well, tying in like networking and booking shows and all the things we've gone over, what do you think the biggest challenge is right now in promotion or like promoting for contemporary improvised
You mean
music?
for like shows, like actual shows?
Yeah, I mean, or promoting the type of music you're working with, like what are the challenges you're facing in that?
Well, I think, it's interesting because there's so much stuff, more stuff than, let's say, 12, 15 years ago. Obviously, there's I think, more bands, more ways to find out about bands. There's that. The other good thing is that there's, I think, now more promoters doing things.
And is that good, or?
I think that's going to end up being good because, the sort of Live Nation, AEG sort of way of promoting and the sort of William Morris CAA way of agenting, that's not good. And I think that, the fact, right now, I mean, there's more music sort of being made on from up to 5,000 capacity rooms, right? Like big arena shows don't really exist so much. So you have these big amphitheaters that sit empty. One of it is because the festival market is huge. Every state has some big festival, or maybe a couple of them. And there just aren't these massively large bands, not enough of them to sort of sustain these big amphitheater or arena shows. And so with that, it's people can't, you can't keep that much of a hold on an 800-person room. There has to be a guy who has a bar with a room that's where they put on shows, and he has his talent buyer. There's a guy who books the shows, and also maybe bartends on the weekend. Those are going. I mean, it's more of what we're seeing, at least from what I do. But I think actually across the board, that really is where most of this stuff. And I think people are enjoying that more because their ability to see shows is easier. It's more person to person. I don't want to go and hang out, even though I put on shows like this. I don't want to hang out with 20,000 of my closest friends. It's I want to go and see a 300-person show. And I think that's happening so much more, and that allows for people to sort of, I think that is good, that there's more of those types of promoters and those types of shows going on. Especially, though, when things are moving really fast. So artists, can jump that quickly. They have a single out that's in November. They're touring down to South by March. And then this summer, they're actually starting to play festivals. That's really fast. And so when artists are making that jump, there's got to be places to play, and the more of that's happening, I think that's good.
So we're seeing, or from your experience, it would be better, and we're seeing a larger market with smaller places where we may be moving away from just the large arena rock.
Oh, we're already away from
way
that.
past that.
Yeah, that's. I mean, how many bands are there? I mean, that you can think of right now that you'd want to go see,
Well, that's the big thing. The ones I want to go see, but there are the Justin Biebers are still filling the arenas.
Are they? I mean, I don't. I mean, but even of that, how many are there?
10.
I don't.
There's not many.
Yeah, there
right,
aren't that
right.
many. I mean, it's okay, so Bon Iver wins Best New Artist. It's really? I didn't know he was that big, on the sort of Grammy scale, which is cool. I mean, I'm glad that exists, but it seems that it's closer from being a quote unquote indie artist to also being this world dominating artist, and that's kind of nice. I like that.
From your experience, are there a lot of? I was under the impression there was a shortage of these sort of mid-sized theater venues. There's a lot of places where you can seat smaller numbers, and then there's a sort of a gap, and then you have to get into these monstrosities. What is the ecosystem for the mid-level artists?
No, well, I think that No, see, I don't. That may be true across the country, but I think what we were talking about a little bit was, is there going to be? I think people are trying to find those rooms. Like, where is the 1,500? The different, there needs to be another room like that in this town or in this market. And you have to think, it's like if you're going into like an arena or a stadium, like the amount of stuff that you have to carry with it is like, let's say a minimum of like 30 people in your crew and like
semi-trucks.
Yeah, semis, and just like, it's like all the like Teamsters and local unions and electric. It's like crazy, And when you're not, that means a lot to somebody's economics. So I would much rather say, like, let's not do that. Let's go play a smaller room and keep it, we got the bus and we got the truck, and that's it. There's 12 of us on tour. So we can basically, the amount of dependence that means, it's like, let's not do that. And so I think that there's a lot more, smarts in how people are doing that. Because they've seen that it doesn't really, what you're getting at the end isn't that great. Mm. So with that in mind, it's like you also have to think, like let's say 10 years ago, I get this complaint a lot that, in say Chicago, and I'm sure this is true in other places, that when we do Pitchfork, and Lollapalooza is like 3 weeks after us. So between the two events, there's like 200 bands that are like out of the market for some time period. One of the complaints we get is that, these bands, especially the ones that we have, would play X club. And it's not really true because people didn't used to tour in Chicago really in the summertime. They tour in the spring, they tour in the fall. One or two of them might do something in the summer, but that didn't exist before. So now you have to also put into play that, like all these festivals, Bumper Shoot, Coachella, Sasquatch, Bonnaroo, ACL, Pitchfork, Capitol Hill Block Party, there's a bazillion, that is basically taking the place of the big arena show, why would you want to have to deal, these people are going to go build this whole festival site, we roll in, we tell them what we want, and then we leave with our bus, and that's it. We don't have to take this whole crew, and they're doing all this promotion, and we want to be part of that, for us now, to go, a few blocks from where our Pitchfork site is the United Center where the Bulls and Blackhawks play. One night, 2 summers ago, Tom Petty did play an arena show there, and it was just crazy town. But he's like one of the only people that could actually do
Did you
something.
go to the Tom Petty?
I did. I left Pitchfork for a couple hours and saw Tom Petty, and then came back. No, but it's so rare that can happen. Bruce Springsteen will do something like that, but how many people are like that? So, and they can do that, but if I was the Arcade Fire, I'd much rather go play Coachella, because now you're also, that means something to your world, to your end of things, and who you're associated with, and how much you get to be wanted, and also the fact that there's all these people who are only able to spend so much money on shows. And once you start to do things, these are the types of conversations I do have with people who are on the other side, whether it's agents or managers, and how they sort of look at what they're looking like for the year, why they're doing this festival versus that festival, where are they going to be in the billing for this, and there's a lot of that sort of association, and people think about that more so, at least the people that I work with, than they do about playing these large shows, large venues. So really, then you're back to 4,000 tops, sort of rooms. Passion Pit playing for 4,000. They're not going to go and play an arena. I don't think that they should. That would be a lot of wasted money when they don't need to. They could sell 3 nights out at and the less overhead, and have maybe a better experience, and the fans would have a better experience. So. Mm. So I think that the more that there's bands that maybe want to either stay at that level, or if there's and then having to move up to it, there'll be more promoters that are doing that. definitely, and that's good.
Did you want to jump in here?
Yeah, I mean, with everything else that you do, you're also involved in Umbrella Music, which is a collective that presents jazz and improvised music. And I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about your involvement with that.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, we do, from my background, from jazz and free jazz and improvised music, we have this collective called Umbrella Music, and we present shows Wednesdays at this place called The Hideout, Thursdays at this gallery called Elastic, and Sundays at this place called The Hungry Brain. And that's a series I started. And we basically, we kind of just work together to sort of identify trends and what people are doing in terms of music, for sure, and trying to figure out who's touring, trying to sort of build identity or build audience capacity. And out of that, we also sort of time to time work with different, on different events, and mostly with a festival that we do in the fall. So, basically it goes to a larger idea that we want to sort of be able to keep a very sustainable world for that type of music. And so if, from a musician standpoint, if I didn't have more places to play, that would mean that I wouldn't have as many musicians that would want to stay in Chicago, that the specific ideas and style that we have in Chicago would start to maybe wouldn't be as strong. And so sometimes people could think about it as like instead of being competing venues, or even venues that we don't work with, that we support them, that it really is an artist-driven sort of idea. We want there to be more people that are there, more people that are making more creative music, and more opportunities, and of course, a connection with the audience. Luckily, we have, we work on it, and we have an audience that sort of replenishes itself. Most of the people that go out and see music, they're between 20 and, 33, let's say. And so we've seen people that cycle through them, new groups of young people, all of a sudden, of course, from time to time, people who haven't been around for a while. But I think it's a lot of the reputation for the venues and also for this style of music that Chicago's sort of known for in a historic way, developing different types of jazz and improvised music. So that's something that's, traditionally something we want to keep. We obviously just want to make sure that there's always going to be something, and from a selfish standpoint, as a musician. Because of that type of stuff, we've sent people, we've collaborated with festivals in Serbia, so we might send people there. We've tried to collaborate with people who present this type of music in other cities. So last year we did a collaboration with Ars Nova Workshop in Philadelphia. That type of world is, it's an interesting thing, because that community, even though it's all over the world, we have these connections. So I could see somebody in Amsterdam and play a gig with them on Friday and say, oh, I'll see you at the Brain on Sunday. And we're moving in those type of circles. So it's also important for us to sort of have that, so that when those people are coming through town, or Jeff Albert from down here comes up, we have those connections, and those possibilities, and also those types of ideas, because if we don't want to be so blinded that we have our thing, and that's great. It's in our interest to also for it to be there for other people, and also so that we can get informed by what other people are doing in their regionalism or even in their international scopes. So, that's maybe the thing that's closest to my heart and what I do, because it's going to be always where I'm based. And so with that, it's like I'm always, if I'm in town, I'm always at the shows. And we have a really great community of musicians and listeners that really, it means a lot.
I have a question here that I think is relevant for a lot of people in this room. a lot of people are involved in a lot of different, a lot of bands who may be looking at getting into their first festival spot, moving out of the club spot and getting on some sort of summer circuit. We have some bands who have already breached that gap. As someone who's buying for those sort of markets, what are some of the things you look for a band to have to know they're ready for something like this?
Well, I think that it's hard to tell. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown my way in terms of my email box can get crazy. But I think one of the best things that you get is recommendations from other bands. And even from, like, let's say, agents or managers, and they don't even represent these bands. But they're like, you need to check this out. It's really good. That's huge. And I think that for like young bands, for new bands, the ability, this obviously goes on, but making so many friends that are out there, other bands, and obviously everybody wants to get a booking agent and a good label and that's great. Everybody should, but it's like even if you're not working with those people, to be interested in what they're doing and hopefully that they're do you like my band or what? I don't know how you'd say it, but you want as many people sort of talking about you as possible. So that's kind of like the best sort of, I think, way that I learn about new artists and how it's like, well, I should check this out. This might be a good thing for Millennium Park. As far as like I like talking with other folks, like let's say how Bonnaroo does it or how APAP does it. I think one thing that's huge is to be very smart about how you bother somebody. It's like, yeah, I know you contacted me 5 times. It's like, I will get back to you if this works. And there's a really good sort of way about doing it, and then there's also a certain way that can get, definitely will be like, all right, definitely not. I won't.
Really? So there's some pet peeves in the.
Yeah, and everybody has them, but I think that the main thing that you want to sort of get across is like, if you haven't met, like I get emails all the time. They're like, "Hey, Mike," and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know who you are." So it's like kind of saying, it's like, "Hey, I'm so and so."
Hey, dude.
Yeah, it's like, "Hey, I'm so and so. I work with this artist. We'd love for you to check it out and just give us your feedback in general." It's like, it's like, you know what? If I don't get on your festival, that's not a problem. I want to see what you think because you're somebody that obviously is working on this, and this. It's like if you ever have a chance, and if you happen to be like, let's say, not this, if you're at like South by Southwest or something, that's obviously the worst time. But if you're like, Wait,
if someone says if you're at South by...
That's like the worst time to sort of say this, which I was going to say. Like, if you have the opportunity to say, let's say, talk to a publicist, maybe you're in their town visiting or something, and there's not an event going on, but you say, hey, I'd love to buy you lunch, and just get some info from it. When there's not like a huge thing going on, when you're not trying to get into their show for anything. And it's that other thing of wanting to be connected, It's like, I want to know what you have to say. I want to know what you think. And that's going to tell me something about me. And also the way that you do it is going to tell you something about you. And that person may say, well, yeah, I don't like that band at all, but what a cool guy.
Yeah,
nice cat, And then that's going to come around at some point. And even if it doesn't, the fact that you keep on doing it that way is going to be huge. So I think it's like this right sort of way of kind of getting your face and getting, in front of people. That's a big deal. I mean, and I would say, it's like, obviously you want to get on the festival, but really what you want at this point is you want to get this person to tell you, I'll check this out. I'll get back to you. Hey, thanks for sending this. You know what? I'll keep in mind. I'm not sure if it's just anything where you can sort of establish some type of relationship with them.
Yeah.
That's big, without like asking too much. It takes sometimes years for it to happen, whatever that happening is. And so I would say be smart about doing that and not, obviously you want to get on the festival, who doesn't want to, you want it now, everybody wants everything, we all do. But these things can take a lot of time, And you need to sort of nourish the relationship and also practice how you do things, Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. I think we're just about out of time. Is there any questions anyone wanted to ask Mike? We have some microphones. All right, well, if you want to come up and say afterwards, please do so. Mike, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.